Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. All right, I have 13 people watching right now. That's pretty amazing. Please let me know where you're joining from. I could also put your name, in the comments. Introduce yourself. You're welcome to Lottie Lagos. Lottie Lagos first ever event titled Exploring Motion. And in today's event, we're going to be exploring motion together. Sounds really fun. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to get some more introductions. I like to meet people. Hey, Abbas. Hello, Daniel. Hello, Raj, the goat. Hey, Joanne. Hey, Vesto. Hi, Ifeoluwa. How are you? Okay, this is cool. Hey, Lana from Malaysia. That's really awesome. Didn't think we'll have. Hi. Okay. Hi, Anthony. All right. 10 more seconds, and we're just going to get into it. Hello, Nick from Malaysia. Nice to meet you. All right. Okay, so first of all, you're welcome to Lottie Lagos. We're an amazing community trying to foster motion design and trying to push motion design right here in Lagos. Lagos is basically one of the initiatives for the Lotiflex community we started last year, and we're just trying to promote motion as much as possible. All right, so today we are going to be talking about a couple of things which are very, very pretty much, they're very interesting. Okay, so we're going to be talking about the community. I'm going to be giving a brief introduction to the community, and then we're going to have two amazing talks by Olamide Roland, who is also known as Verge the Goat, and Samuel Osborne, who is popularly known as SV Genius. And then after that, we're going to have a Q&A session where whatever questions you have, you're welcome to just put them in the comment section on YouTube. All right, I believe everyone is watching from YouTube, so please put them in the comment section on YouTube. And after the event, I'm going to be answering everyone's. Raj and Samuel are going to be answering everyone's questions. Then after the Q&A, we're going to have a Kahoot session. Right. Okay. After the Q&A, I hope everyone can still hear me. Please let me know in the comments. I hope everyone can still hear me. Okay, so after the Q&A, we're going to have a Kahoot session where we're going to do a quick giveaway for people that play Kahoot very, very well. And then after that, we're going to just close. So I look forward to this. It's going to be an exciting event, very, very, very exciting. And let's have fun. Please, if you're on Twitter, here are some of our hashtags we have for the event: Exploring Motion, Lottie Lagos, and Lottie Community. So let people know what's happening at the event, and just engage as much as possible. Let everybody know that we are exploring motion together here on Lottie Lagos YouTube channel. So, all right. So I don't think I introduced myself yet. My name is David Chuka. I am Lottie Lagos community organizer. Fun fact about me. Let's see. Not much. I'm not as interesting as I wish I was. But yeah, I'm Lottie Lagos community organizer, and I'm in charge of putting this event together. Just helping promote the community and keep the community in one piece as much as I can. Okay. What is Lottie Lagos? Interesting that you would ask. Lottie Lagos is a community that aims to create an inclusive environment where everyone interested in motion can learn, grow, work together to put out their best work. So the best time to join the motion community right now, personally, I feel like in Lagos or in Nigeria right now, I feel like it's now, because we've had a couple of motion communities coming up. For example, Lottie Lagos, you're welcome. We also have this motion community called Akara Bread and Animation. If you've never heard of it, we have they have weekly Twitter spaces every Wednesday. And then lastly, we have Batch Motion, which is also a very new motion design community that recently just started. Raj the Goat, actually one of our speakers, started that, and it's pretty interesting because communities really help people that are maybe just getting started or clueless about a particular field or industry. So communities are really awesome. I've been a big advocate for communities for the longest time. Lottie Lagos is also a place to learn new skills in motion design, Lottie animations, and meet local designers and developers virtually or in person with similar interests in motion. So I believe many people here actually joined this live because they're very interested in motion and they would like to meet people with similar interests in motion. And that is why we have this community and this event right now. Okay. Um, so plans for the community, we plan to create awareness for motion design, foster collaboration amongst members in the community. We want people to come together and collaborate as much as possible, just work on stuff and put out their best work. That's one of our biggest plans for the community. And lastly, we want to organize events and workshops centered around motion design to provide more knowledge to people and give people the ability to learn and create awesome work. Okay. What is Lotifiles? Interesting question. Lotifiles is a platform for testing, collaborating, and discovering animations for a community of animators, designers, developers, and engineers. So Lotifiles is responsible for this event. Actually, they started a community program, and Lottie Lagos. I signed up for Lottie Lagos. Lotifiles basically has numerous use cases, right? They are the go-to platform right now for animation on wherever you want. If that's walkthroughs, in-app animations, websites and blogs, animated stickers, reactions, gaming assets, infographics, AR and VR, presentations, animated icons, social media, and even ads. You could use Lotifiles for a very large number of use cases. All right. Over 130,000 plus companies use Lotifiles to ship. That's insane. We have Google, Facebook, Apple, Zoom, Oracle, Twitter. All your favorite companies use Lotifiles, and I think you should too, because that's pretty great. All right, I'm just going to play a quick video introducing Lotifiles and just quick set of how Lotifiles works.
I've got a big fat drum, I've got a big fat drum, pounding so bad, I've got a big fat drum, I've got a big fat, big. Listen! Yeah. Clap. You ready? Let's go.
All right, I hope we all enjoyed that video. Basically, Lotifiles they're powering the revolution in motion right now, and I think it's pretty amazing what they're doing with what they have. It's really crazy. All right, over to our first speaker for the day. Like I said, we're going to have a lot of fun in today's event. We have Roland Olamide, who many people may know as Rush the Goat on Twitter. He's a badass motion designer, and I don't say that because he's on the slides. I say that because that's what he says he is. So we're going to find out. And today's talk, Olamide Roland, also known as Rush the Goat, is a 3D motion designer and animator based in Lagos, Nigeria. He's passionate about helping brands, products, startups, and companies push the needle forward in motion design. He also runs a YouTube channel not called Rush the Goat, where he explores conversations with other motion designers and creates content to help aspiring designers in Nigeria make the transition into motion design. So we're going to bring him up now, and he's going to walk us through foundations of motion design, how to get started, nuances around motion design, and basically find your way in the industry. Okay.
Hi, I'm Olamide Roland, and I'm also the one they call Rush the Goat. I'm a 3D motion designer and creative director based in Lagos, Nigeria. In this talk, I'm going to be going over the foundation of motion design. So before we continue, let's just look at my amazing reel made with love and coffee. Oh, sorry. Welcome back to the video. And I hope you enjoyed my reel. I know it's really good. So yeah, let's get back to it. Before we talk about motion design properly, let's go over, I think it would be beneficial to talk about like visual communication as a whole and go over how communication has evolved over time. And the best way to start it, or the first place to start it, is with cave paintings. Back in the day, when humans had a need for communication, they did it with cave paintings, and it was just a way to pass a quick message to the next person that, oh, was like a kind of predator to one, or like to be wary of, or like maybe there's something here that you could find interested, and it was just a way to pass a quick message. And that later evolved into more pictorial, like more visual forms of communication, like the Egyptian hieroglyphs or phonographs, which represent sounds. And I personally think, I don't quote me on this, but I think that probably evolved into letters and words that we have today, just going from cave paintings to things like Egyptian hieroglyphs and phonographs to letters. I think from there, the world evolved into a little bit of printing, and I think that's where we have like the earliest form of printing. I don't think like letters we have today were fully defined then, but like that was when it started evolving, and then things like woodblock printing, which is basically carving out letters and information into wood and using them as a stamp, and that was kind of like the early form of printing, the earliest form of printing that we have. And I think right after, when we've created those pictographs and like the Egyptian hieroglyphs, I think that was like the next progression from there in human evolution. And from there, we have photography. I'm not going to go into detail about how photography works, but like I think someone found a way to use chemically sensitive light to capture images, and that was genius back in the day, and it has evolved so much till now, and we've not, like right now photography is at like a new all-time high, and like new and amazing cameras come like every day. But back then, it had to be done chemically, and it was a very interesting process. But then that led us into like a new way of communicating. Like it was like you could now capture a moment, and that was interesting. So let's say something happened, this person meets this person. You couldn't. It doesn't have to be airsafe anymore. You could just capture the moment and see it for yourself, and that was revolutionary. And that led us into like an era of mass communication. This is when like printing and photography became more readily available, and it was more or less common to be able to afford to print massive amounts of documents. And new technologies and new printing presses were invented at that time. And I believe that was like the initial foundation to graphic design, but I don't think the term graphic design was coined until the next era. And then the next era, which is like the modern era, which is more closer to where we are now. But this is like when the term graphic design was coined, which is graphic design in its purest form. It's basically using shapes and colors and typography to like and composition to tell a story or pass a message across. And that's the explanation. That is like graphic design in the little simplest explanation. Then motion design takes it up a notch, because motion design, you add everything you would have in graphic design, which is shapes, colors, texture, like, and you're passing information with it, but you take it up a notch by adding cinematography principles and adding animation, and those three things make up graphic design. So those three things make up motion design. So motion design is a combination of graphic design, cinematography, and animation. So you're basically creating films with graphic design and animation, essentially, and you're telling a story and passing across an information. And when you look at it from a broader view, and you look at all ways we've done visual communication, it starts to make sense that at the core of it, what you're doing with motion design is saying something, is passing a message visually. And I think once you understand this, motion design is going to be so much easy for you, like it was for me. Like when I was coming up in motion a few years ago, like my work was in it. I don't think my work was good until I understood this, because then I wasn't thinking about how to make the coolest graphics in the world. I was thinking about what am I trying to say with this piece of work, and that is the core of motion design. I feel like if you understand this, you do so well in motion.
Hi, Raj. So sorry, so sorry. You're on mute currently. Yeah, it happens to the best of us. No, don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. It's cool. It's cool. You're on mute. Just have to unmute yourself.
Oh shit, like I don't know why there is so much lag.
Awesome.
And I
Awesome.
forgot to unmute myself. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay, I'm just going to assume that you can hear me. And let me just continue. I was trying to say that there was so much lag in the last few minutes, and I'm not sure you got most of what I was trying to say. So I was trying to make sure we look at motion from like as a tool for visual communication, rather than looking at it as this one thing where you're just making graphics and then you're animating it and it's all cool. Like all that is cool. But I found out that the best way to learn motion is by first understanding that at the core of it, this is a tool for visual communication. This is a tool to say something. It's not like, oh, let's just get all the coolest assets and let's make the coolest graphics. Let's tell the nicest story. Let's make a Nike commercial. It's not that. It's at the core, you're trying to say something. And to understand that better, I just wanted us to go through the history of visual communication. So, like, we've come a long way as humans in terms of visual communication. We started from like cave paintings. It was just a way to tell the next person coming into a cave that, oh shit, a monster can be in that cave. Be careful. And we just had quick drawings or quick sketches to like signify, oh, there's danger here. Be wary of this cave. And then I think that kind of evolved into more complicated visual symbols like phonographs, which represented sound, and Egyptian hieroglyphs. And it kind of like I feel like I personally think like that evolved into the letters we have today, but do not quote me on that. This is just an assumption from me. It's like the cave paintings, the hieroglyphs, everything kind of evolved into the letters we have today. And after that, we had early printing. This was when we had like a way to, create quick documents. And it was like, I think the first way is like the wood block. It was just carving out letters or carving out shapes in wood and using it as a stamp. And that was a way to do early printing. And then the next thing we developed after that as humans was photography. Photography was so revolutionary and it has evolved so much. But then back then when photography was invented, it was using light sensitive chemicals to capture an image. So it wasn't like the cameras we have today that everything is digital and there's a sensor and everything is so nice. But back then it was just grab a bunch of chemicals and use them to capture an image, a bunch of light sensitive chemicals and use them to capture an image. And then the next step in the evolution of communication was the mass communication era. This was when printing was more readily available. This was like when it was like more accessible, where everyone understood what printing is and everyone could access it. I think this is where like we started to see a little bit of graphic design, and this is when typography has like fully evolved. But then like printing, photography, they were more or less common. And the next era, which is more closer to the era we are, which is modern era, I feel like this is where graphic design, the term graphic design was coined. And from there, we have things like motion. But motion came because of filmmaking. And in my last talk, I was trying to explain that the person who founded, like the one of the earliest motion designer was Saul Bass. But in this era, like this is where graphic design was fully formed, the modern era. And this was like graphic design at its core is just using design, using shapes, using typography, using the elements of design to communicate. That is graphic design at its core. And motion design is like taking all that you have in graphic design, the elements, the shape, the the colors, the composition, and adding cinematographic principles to it. Graphic design is like motion design is like graphic design and cinematography getting married and wanting to have a child, and animation is kind of like the surrogate mother. That is
Oh, looks like Raj is having some issues with internet. Okay. Okay. This was not planned for. Sorry. I'm sorry, everyone. Um, uh, I think we're just going to move on to the next speaker for now. Whenever Raj fixes his internet issues, would we can listen to him to the end of the talk. Okay. All right. So our next speaker is Samuel Osborne. Sam is actually an open source developer at Lotiflex, and Sam is passionate about Lottie animations, interactivity with Lottie animations, as well as creating educational content around Lottie animations. Sam is actually one of the first people that introduced me to Lottie animations. He doesn't know this, but yeah, it kind of happened. I listened to a podcast episode where he was there talking about Lotties. So Sam is also a creator of SV Genius Co. Many of you may know him as SV Genius, and textbgs.com. All right. So Sam will be walking us through Lottie animations and how to create our first ever Lottie. I'm going to bring up Sam now. Hey
man.
Sam, how's it going?
It's going good, thanks. How are you?
Very good. Nice to have you on our live on our event today. Really appreciate it. So I'm going to leave you to take it away. All right.
Awesome. So yeah, before I get started, if any of you have any questions or if I need to explain something in more detail, please do let me know. But we're going to start off by creating an animated icon. We're going to create it in Figma, and I'm going to show you how to create it in Illustrator as well. So we're going to use both of those programs, drop them into After Effects, animate it, export it as a Lottie. And then once that's done, I'm going to show you how to add Lotties to a website and have some animated social icons, which can play on hover, and then just a looping, auto-playing animation for our landing page. So if you have any questions or want me to go into detail, just let me know in the comments. But let's get started with Figma. So in Figma, to export our animations or export our icons out into After Effects, we actually need to use a plugin called AEUX. So AEUX is a plugin by Google, I believe, which allows you just to grab all your shape layers and drop them into After Effects. So let's get started. Here, it's a pretty simple animation. It's just we're going to have some rotating squares and animate the transparency of the circles. So inside Figma, I've got my icons. I've layered them and named them here on the left. And I'm just going to select the frame, go up into my plugins, development AEUX. This window should appear, and I'm going to send my selection to After Effects. So there we go, really quick. And we've got all our names, so we don't have to rename them. This is really nice. So there we go, we've got our shapes into After Effects. So that's for Figma. If you're using Illustrator, you have your shapes. I'm going to remove the guide layers and save your project, and then head over to After Effects. You're going to import it. So let me just find the path. I'm going to save it on my desktop. There we go. And then in AE, let's open it up. And this window should pop up. I'm going to import it as a composition. There we go. Go into the pre-comp. And as you can see here, we've got Illustrator layers. So I'm actually going to select them all. right click, create shapes from vector layer, because Lottie's work with vector shapes. So this is what we're looking for. Delete all the Illustrator layers. And now you have your shape layers. You can start animating these and exporting to Lottie. Right, so let's get to animating our shapes. So here with AUX, we've got our comp. And because the shapes are going to be animating in the same way, I'm actually going to pre-comp the first one, and then we can copy it over afterwards. So I'm going to grab the rectangle, the circle, right click, and pre-compose it. Let's call it square circle. There we go. And I'm going to center them into the middle of the pre-comp. And let's start off with the rectangle. So here I'm going to right click the rectangle path and convert it to a Bezier path. And I'm going to duplicate it and do this guide because I want it as a guide layer. And so if I just bring up animation again, we're going to animate the path so the rectangle points swap over basically. So what we're going to do is grab our rectangle, go under its path, and animate the path. And then go to about half a second. Grab this point, just move it up, grab this one, bring it down. There we go. So we're just using our guide layer to know where to put the points. So there we go. We've got our first transition. I'm going to hold that for about 15 milliseconds. See how that works out. That's a bit quick, so I'm going to bring it up a bit. And as you can see, when we animate it, you can see here on the corners, we've sort of got some weird end caps. So I'm going to go into the stroke and convert it to a round cap. So there we go. And now it should animate nicely. Okay. So from here, I'm going to pull up the guide again. And we can animate these two, the top left and the bottom right corner animating. So I'm going to grab this point again and the top one, switch them over. And just align them with our guide layer. And up here, something like that. Here we go. Okay. And so what's that look like? Yeah, the other one needs to be dragged out of it. Let's put it to 2 seconds. Hold that there. And then select all the keyframes. F9, add some easy ease. Okay. That's looking good. And now we just want to animate the opacity of the circle. So I'm going to select the circle layer, press T, and let's make it disappear with the first square, and then make it reappear at the end. So there we go, add some easy ease to that as well. Go. Ooh. Disappears and reappears. Okay, so now we've got that done. We can even just leave a marker if you want it to. And there we go, all good. So I don't actually need these other shapes. I'm going to remove them and just work with the pre-comp. So here, we're going to just duplicate it twice and just rename them. So this is going to be the left one, the middle one, and the right one. So here, let's bring over the left one, just align it like that, and the right as well. There we go. And let's go up to 5 seconds. And I forget to remove this guide. Yeah. So there we go. Okay, so at the moment they're all sort of synchronized and running at the same time. I'm going to add a little bit of delay on them. So for that, Lottie supports time remapping, at least on the web for what I'm aware. So I'm going to right click the pre-comps, go into time and enable time remapping. And just do this for the others as well. So I'm going to offset them by about ½ a second. So there we go. And then 1 second more. And this should leave space between them to do their thing. Okay, and then frame view, we have a perfect loop. There we go. Okay, so that's looking good. And if you want to check out how it looks like as a Lottie, you can just go into the extensions and use the Lotiflex plugin for After Effects. And here, I'm going to rename it the comp. Drag it out. There we go, refresh. So it's going to render out and we can have a look to see what it looks like as a Lottie. So here I'm going to change the background. And let's just keep it as white and black. So there we go. And with the Lotiflex plugin, you can upload it straight to your profile. So that's what I'm going to do. And it's uploading. There we go. And you can just click on this little world icon and it'll open up your profile with your Lottie animation. Okay, so that's looking good. Now I want to show you how you can get this Lottie animation into a website. So as before, this is what we're going to be making. This is a Lottie animation, and these social icons are too. So where to begin? Well, if you head into your animations and grab an animation you want to use in your website, you can just click on it, and we're actually going to grab the asset link, and you've got to double check it ends in .json. So I'm going to copy that. Head over to the Lotiflex homepage, and under code and web player up here, we're going to get some code. So here you'll want to paste in that link you just copied. It'll load up your animation in the preview window. And I'm going to leave the play mode at normal, leave it forward and a transparent background. You can set your width and height and the animation speed. I'm going to speed it up a bit because it looks better when it's sped up. I'm going to remove the controls and leave also play and loop. So the first thing to do is actually include the Lottie player into your website. So you can go ahead and copy the script inside your code. This is purely just HTML and CSS because the Lottie player makes it very easy to include into your websites. So inside the header tag of your website, you're going to want to paste in the Lottie player library. And then I've got a few places to put in some Lottie animations. So here we're going to scroll down and grab the second part of the generated code. So let's copy that, paste that in. So let's just go through it. We've got a Lottie play element. We've got SRC, so the link to our JSON. We're using a transparent background, a speed of 3, and we've got a style width and height of 300 pixels, and loop and autoplay attributes. So our animation is going to loop and autoplay. So if I go ahead and click go live, it's going to run a server for us. And sorry, let me just bring that up. And we've got our Lottie animation. So at the moment, because of the styling, it's very small. So I'm going to remove the width and height of 300 pixels. Go ahead and save that. And animation is playing nicely. I'm using Tailwind CSS. So I can add Tailwind classes, CSS classes. So if I do mix auto and give it a width, it should look a bit better on the page. So there we go. And using some of Tailwind's sort of animation classes, you can actually rotate your Lottie animation using Tailwind classes and rotate it on hover as well. So just to go through it, these classes, transform, rotate 6, is going to rotate the animation just by default. And then using a transition class, hover, scale 105, which this means that when we hover over it, it's going to actually scale the element. It's going to last 700 milliseconds, and then it's going to rotate it as well on hover. So there we go. As you can see, it's scaling just a little bit and rotating our Lottie animation. And Daniel has a question. I've been wondering, what exactly is body moving? How is it different from Lottie files? Because I have both installed and almost everyone does. So body moving is the original After Effects plugin, and it's what Lottie was called before. It was called Lottie. It was called body moving. And so the difference between the body moving plugin and the Lottie files plugin in After Effects, the Lottie files plugin allows you to see your animations as Lotties directly in After Effects and also upload them to your profile straight away, because it's the Lottie files plugin, so they can do that. So yeah, body moving is the original name, previous name for Lottie and the After Effects plugin, and the Lottie files plugin is the After Effects plugin from Lottie files, which allows you to upload directly to your profile. So that's our first Lottie animation. I'm going to show you how to play some animations on hover, and these are going to be some social media icons. So we've got a Twitter icon and a Facebook icon. So once again, I'm going to grab the JSON for my icon, and I'm going to copy the Lottie play element, because I just need to swap out the source for the animation. So I've copied that. I'm going to go up to here. Yusuf, can we add responsive features to the Lottie animations? Do you mean like interactions or something else? Because if you meant interactions, then we're going to be doing this just right now with the social media icons. So yeah. So I've just copied the Lottie player element, and I'm going to remove the styling because it's not the same here. I'm going to remove the source, animation, and the speed needs to be 1. And I don't want it to loop and autoplay, so I'm going to remove them. And then actually going to put hover because I want it to play on hover. So let's just grab the JSON URL, paste it in there. I'm just going to do the same for the Facebook logo and grab that URL as well. There we go. Paste that in. And I've not added any styling, so I think it's going to be a bit big. Let's see, yep, they are pretty massive icons, but they are Lottie animations playing on hover. And yeah, we're using them as links. So that's pretty cool. I've got some styling to give them just so they look a bit better. Just filling in the classes for the Lottie player element. And that should do it. So there we go. Our Lottie animations playing on hover. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you go from Figma or Illustrator into After Effects, export it as a Lottie animation, and get it into a website. So I hope that helped you out and helps you out on your Lottie journey. And you can soon be implementing Lottie animations into your websites.
All right. Thank you very much, Sam. That was really, really, really insightful. I mean, it just goes to show how easy it is to create Lottie animations and use them in your projects as well. So thank you very much. That was really nice. Please, if you have any questions, this is the Q&A section of the event. If you have any questions, please, I'd love for you to put it in the chat, right? Because we're answering questions right now. Raj is back, actually. I think yeah, I could yes. Hey Raj, we're so sorry about your stream. Yeah, so we're so sorry about your stream. We are going to try and upload the video afterwards for people that can watch it afterwards. So Raj's talk is actually very insightful, and it goes very deep into motion design and what motion design is. So we're actually going to try and upload it both on our page and on Raj's YouTube channel as well. So question time, Q&A. All right. I think I'm going to question time. I have one question. Please fill in your questions in the comments. But I have one question for Sam. Sam, I wanted to ask, I see a lot of people doing Lottie animations on After Effects, and I wanted to know if After Effects is the only way to use Lottie animation or to create Lottie animations.
So there are other programs available actually to create Lottie animations. If you head to lotifiles.com/integrations, they actually have a list of other software that allow you to create Lottie animations. So yeah, do check that out.
Oh, okay, so that's lotifiles.com/integrations.
Yeah,
I think that's it, right?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you very much. Please, okay. I think there's a question here by Yusuf.
Yeah. can we specify animations based on screen size, like desktop, tablet, and mobile? Yeah, for sure, Yusuf. So if you the animations will adapt to the container you put them in. So if you have breakpoints and it changes the width on the container, then it will change the size of the animation, and you can have scaling animations for desktop, tablet, and mobile, and it will keep the same quality and resolution because Lottie's are vector based, so it will look lovely on all of those platforms.
Right. Any other questions? No. No questions.
I have a question for you guys though. When would
okay.
Lottie have better 3D integrations?
Sorry, what was that?
When would Lottie have better 3D integrations? Like,
Lottie have better technologies.
Lottie,
I'm not sure, man.
yeah, you know, like right now to use Lottie with 3D files, you have to like export a longer PNG sequence, make sure everything is correct, make sure the file is super compressed, so you can use like below maybe 10 MB, and it's just not that great with 3D stuff. And it seems like if you could make it work, it would be like a really good resource. I mean, or maybe support MP4s instead of PNG sequences, so it's not as heavy. I'm just thinking about it.
Yeah,
It's like my current frustration with Lottie.
Okay. Well, yeah, I definitely give that feedback to the teams for Lotiflex.
Yeah.
All right. I think there are more questions on the chat. Would like to.
Can you use Lottie in VS Code?
Sam?
Yes, you can. That is assuming VS Code is Visual Studio Code. You should be able to.
All right.
But then you have
there's
to
a
have a
Lotiflex
live server
plugin.
on. You have to have a live server on.
Yeah.
Or then you can like export a preview.
Yeah, it depends what he means by using. Yeah, if it's like in a website, then that's what I just did. I had a live server as a integration on VS Code. There is also a VS Code Lotiflex plugin, which allows you to view your Lottie files directly in Visual Code. So
Yeah, I think there's one more question, and then after this, I think we'll just go ahead and continue.
To add to Yusef's question, I've had this struggle with a dev on bounding box issues where the space around the artboard is too big. Is it possible to edit this without affecting the main AE file? So that's sort of like a cropping issue on the animations. At the moment, via code at least, it's not possible to sort of crop Lottie animations. So yeah, you'd have to do it in After Effects and then re-export the Lottie again.
All right. Thank you so much, Sam, once again. To just conclude this section, I just want to say thank you guys so much once again. You guys have been awesome. All right. So I'm going to take it away from here. Okay, guys. So to conclude this section, we have a game of Kahoot. So we're planning to give away some Lottie file swags to the winner of this Kahoot section. So yeah, if you are great at Kahoot, please pull out your phones, your devices, and we're going to be starting in a bit. Oh, wow. Okay. Sorry, one sec. I'm just going to have this up now. Okay, so I'm trying to set it up. Just give me a minute. Okay. That's it. Okay. Can everyone see my screen? All right. So everyone, go to kahoots.it and then you can enter this game code. Yeah. Okay. I think that's kahoots.it. All right. As yet. Wait for people to join. Oh, Jesus. Hi. Nice to meet you, Jesus. Okay. We just have one player for now. Okay, Talani is online. Talani is online. Just a quick game of Kahoot, and I'm going to start when we have 10 people. Amethyst is online. Okay, that's a fancy name. Ife with triple E's. Awesome. Nuruj, Max, Lana. All right. Hey, Sam. Okay. I need 3 more participants, and we're going to start. It's not as competitive as I thought it would be, but okay. Dave is live. Not Roche is live. Okay. All right, I'm going to start in 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3. The pin is on the screen. You could see it here. 466-7410. 466-7410. All right. I think I'm going to start now. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, I think I would help reading the questions out. Roland Olamide is popularly known as 3, 2, 1. Oh wow, some people chose Rush the Goat, which is, I think, is an awesome name as well. Okay, not Rush, obviously. Next question. What tool does Sam introduce first before animating? We have AEUX, UIUX, DYDX, and SYSX. All right, let's see how many we can have here. Oh, wow. Well, someone's on fire. Okay. Final question before we call it a day. What is the theme for this event? Evolving motion, enduring motion, expanding motion, exploring motion. That's a lot of motion if you ask me. Oh wow, everybody got that. Wow, some people chose evolving motion. That's interesting. Okay, so third position is users. Second, we have Joe, and at the top we have the spotlight on Not Rush. Exciting. Okay, so I'm going to tell Not Rush to reach out to me with their details. I don't know who Not Rush is. I'm not even going to pretend to know. All right. Thank you everybody so much for joining this event. I know we had hiccups somewhere, but you know, we're just trying to get better and continue to do these things, and you know, just preach motion as much as we can. We have a feedback form that I would love for everyone to fill. It's feedback is actually very, very important because we're going to be using this to improve our future events, right? And you know, just get better at listening and what you guys want to hear in the next event. So please fill the feedback form. There's a QR code on the screen, and also the link is boldly written on the screen. Follow us at Lottie Lagos on Twitter. And we also have a meetup community, which is Lottie Lagos. On the meetup community, we're going to be putting more information about the community and growing our community on meetup. So please try and join the meetup community as well. All right, that brings us to the end of this event, Exploring Motion. I'm very glad that we had a lot of you learn a thing or two and ask very intelligent questions. Once again, I'm your host, David Chuka, and until next time, bye.